Hey guys, MD Prepper here. Another quick review of another small pack item for if you got a bug out bag, camping pack, something like that. Another small, relatively cheap addition consideration that I think is kind of a must-have in my opinion. Just to have around, keep things better organized, and hopefully keep things dry. These are the dry sacks from Outdoor Products. I got these from Walmart for about 10 bucks, a little less than that. I think they were 8, 9 bucks, something like that. Looked on the website from Walmart tonight. They list them as 12 overall. They got them cheaper here in the stores in South Carolina. I've got several packs of these things. And let me say, these are the smaller size packs. They do make giant ones that are probably as big as this table. Big, big, big for all sorts of stuff. I don't think that's as practical. I mean, I guess you could use those if you want to, but you're going to be rummaging around the bag trying to find what you want. I think these 3 smaller ones to divide up your types of gear are going to be a lot more practical. Here's the little package they come in the sporting goods section at Walmart. You get 3 bags, kind of a small, medium, and large, or whatever they call them. 3-pack combo in 3 colors. The smallest one is in blue. The next one is kind of a blaze orange sort of color, and the largest one is green. I think they make even bigger ones that are clear and yellow, the same brand and all that. They call them an ultimate dry sack. They're not actually a dry sack. They're not 100% waterproof in general. They're water resistant. But again, if this thing is in your pack should already be fairly water resistant. If it's not, well, that's what you need. Again, dry backpack with these on the inside, it's going to do the job. We're going to talk about what you can do here to maximize this thing here in a minute, but what have you. Anyhow, let me flip this around. We'll start with the small one. Again, these are brand new out of the pack, so they're not flattened out or anything like that, but very ultra lightweight. These things add no weight at all to your pack at all. You're not going to notice it, but it's going to organize things. The small one here, it'll clip on the back side of each one of these at the opening. They're all just like this. Got your pack, got some harder plastic lip around the top for securing the thing down. We'll talk about that in a minute. There's your material. Very thin, but fairly sturdy. Again, this thing's curved up just because, well, just got out of the pack. But anyway, not going to lay straight. There's the smallest one. The small one is 7.75 inches by 13. 7.7 wide, 13 inches in the height, if you will. Smaller grade stuff. I like to pack these things in colors that are going to remind me of what the use is. Blue I use for water preparation, water purification, etc. Those types of things. Now, is this going to be too big for some of your water purification stuff? Yeah, maybe. But anything to do with water, liquid, hydration, stuff like that, I may put salt, sugar, ramen noodle, seasoning packets, bouillon cubes, things like that for rehydration solution, all those types of things I may put in here as well, other than just your standard little filter, straws, that type thing. You know, polar piers, all the various style things that I'm probably going to do reviews on here in the future. So I would just say anything to do with water and aquatics and liquids, I'd put in blue. My personal preference on that. Again, most of those things don't take up a lot of space. You don't need to carry a whole lot of it. Next one's the blaze orange, slightly larger. This is the one that I use for medical equipment. You say, well, I want a bigger bag for medical, or maybe I want a small one. No, you don't. You want the most visible. The one thing you're going to need when you need it is going to be medical. Middle of the night, you don't want to be looking for this green one here that I'm going to show you in a minute. Now, forget that. Middle of the night, low light conditions, you're stressed out, etc. You're going to want to use the pack that you're going to see the quickest and easiest. Have all your medical gear inside this thing. More than ample for general purpose. This one is 9.5 inches wide, 15.5 in height. Perfectly sized for any kind of medical kit that you're going to carry, unless you're some kind of field medic or something, in which case you're probably going to want a whole separate pack for that. But anyway, I think the blaze orange is probably the best for your medical options. You may disagree. Again, I want to be able to see the thing that's going to be the most important. What's the most important thing in the middle of any type of situation is medical. Somebody gets a bad cut, somebody steps on something and punches a hole through their foot, slashes their hand open with a knife. You want the thing you can get a hold of and see the quickest. So there's the blaze orange. I'm going to show you one of these packs here in a second. And finally, as my camera readjusts, the larger size in green. This one is 6.75 inches in diameter, or across I suppose. Let's see, it is 22 inches in height. The green I tend to use for anything that's going to be bushcraft or bush lore or anything like that. Just general woodland use. Now you could argue what all to put in this or not. And there's a lot of other things that I'm not going to keep in this bag, like my knife. Probably not keep my ferrocenium rod or anything like that. Binoculars, etc. put away. But I may put my cordage in here. I may put a hammock, tube tent, any type of little thing that I just consider this for camping out at night in the woods. That's just what I use the green for. Use it for whatever you want. You know, I don't care. That's fine. The way you use these things. Let me show you one that's already packed. This is one of my emergency medical kits. Now I'm not going to go inside the contents because that is not what this video is about. But this is it packed with a fair amount of gear. You could put more in here, basically, if you wanted to, but this is just what I've got. So, got the little snap here. Let me start with this thing open. Unraveled. All your gear's on the inside. There's your opening with stuff on the inside. What you want to do with this thing, slowly as you roll this thing down and get the air out of it, okay? It's just going to pack cleaner and tighter and all that. You don't need other extra air. It's going to get in the way. Going to make packing harder. So you take this thing, the upper lip here, if I can get that in the camera right there, and you're going to fold it down, slowly pushing out the air. Fold it down again. They say at least 3 times. You could do it more. I'm going to do it 4 times. You pull it up the top, you rotate it around, you snap this thing closed. So there you go. Again, I didn't quite get all the air out of this one, as you can see, so I'm not going to waste the video time on it, but this is still fairly compact. You can hear the pills and stuff that I've got here for the medical kit and some other stuff rattling around. That's fine. This is going to be decent. Is it going to float? No, probably not. Don't need it to. But if I did happen to drop in the stream, it's bright. It's going to sink to the bottom, hopefully, and I can find the thing. Like I said before, they don't even advertise these things as watertight. They call them dry sacks because they're going to keep some of the water penetration out, okay? If you want a true dry sack, well, you got other options, Ziploc bags, that sort of thing. If I had a cell phone, something like that inside this, I'd probably put it in a plastic bag as an added bonus. So inside your pack, plus inside this, plus inside a Ziploc bag, that's 3 layers. It's going to stay dry, okay? If you really want something to stay dry, you're going to have multiple layers of protection. I would not trust any single layer barrier to work 100% of the time. So that's my personal preference. That whole, if 1 is none, 2 is 1. So at least have 2 layers. A third if you want to be ultra paranoid, which I can get sometimes. So decent size for a medical kit. You can pretty much have just about anything you want in that. And I'm going to do some other bids on medical kits here after a while. Now, as I said, these things are not exactly 100% waterproof. That's okay. For $3 a bag, basically is what I believe I paid for it, that's decent. Again, I'm not going to be jumping into a lake with this stuff on. At least I hope not. Canoeing, all that stuff, again, better than nothing. And it's cheap. Okay, that's the biggest point. This is affordable, it's decent, and it helps you organize your gear. So you can find what in the heck you need in that big giant pack you've got full of 60 pounds of gear in an emergency when you're already stressed out and not thinking too clearly that storm's rolling in or the snow's falling or somebody's been hurt. This is going to help you think, okay? It's going to help take a lot of the thought out of things, which is always a good thing. You just learn what to react to. Well, again, being only water resistant, I'd say, more than waterproof. Well, what do you need? Well, one thing for anybody out in the woods or anybody prepping that everybody should have a can of, at least at home during the end of the world or something. Aha! Water protectant, silicone water guard, that type stuff, Scotchgard, etc. This stuff's made here in my home state of South Carolina, way down in Orangeburg. Picked up Walmart, $4 or $5. This stuff has some of the highest rating for protecting your gear, waterproofing it. They got a cool little sticker there, score of 100. So, as it says, I believe it says, highest performance possible with single application. Now, it does tell you that some types of material are going to need a second application. Keep a jar of this at home, a can of this. At least one can, probably 2 or 3. Again, I would prefer bug in. And if I've got a coat or jacket, something like that, even if it's not something I typically wear out in a rainstorm, but it happens to be all I've got, I can take the time and Scotchgard this thing inside my garage, something like that, and let the thing dry out. No odor or anything like that. Takes anywhere between 24 to 48 hours, unless you got real stale air, very limited airflow, cold temperatures, that type of stuff. So that may actually push it beyond the 48 hours per the instructions. Of course, let me show you the picture. They show all the various things you can do with this. Tents, jackets, backpacks, hats, etc. On this side, all sorts of leather products, which you're really going to want to protect. Why waste good leather? Because it'll last forever. Various tarps, that sort of thing. So even if you've got something that's getting a little old, maybe not having quite the water protection you need, well, push comes to shove, this thing's about $4 or $5. It's going to do the job. I may actually do another review on this. I've got a black duster made out of denim that I've got to waterproof at some point. Not that I'm going to use a duster very often, but I found it for cheap, thought it was cool. Anyway, WaterGuard, you can use that on this thing. Silicone protection. This thing would be fairly waterproof at that point. Anyway, enough about this. This is just a quick review of your dry sacks. There may be better ones out there. These are the ones I use. I like the color combination. I think the blaze orange, the green, and the blue offer you the various color combinations you're going to need for most of the stuff you're going to keep in your pack. Am I going to keep my folding saw in any of these? No, I don't care about it getting wet. I don't care about it, you know, it's going to be fairly obvious in my pack, but anything smaller, it's going to be fine. If you want to, you could even use the green one, like I have in the past, for your cooking, camping stuff when you settle down for the night. You can put your little camping stove, you can put your tinder and all that stuff in there. It's going to do the job. So, just a little addition, just something to think about. Probably not what you want if you're bugging in, probably not particularly useful. But if you go camping, all that, for $10, cheap investment, keep your stuff organized, relatively safe. Anyway, Indie Prepper, out.